Hello, my name is Annabella Tamberg, and today I'll be applying for a wildlife protection position. So, why should you guys hire me? First of all, I've got the academic background it takes to be knowledgeable and skillful in this position. So, my major here at FGCU is integrated studies, and I'm taking horticulture, botany, and biology and integrating those studies. On top of that, I've already completed my minor in agribusiness, so that gives me further insight on the agricultural world and everything that's happening. So, beyond academics, I think you should hire me because I've got the motivation and the passion to be in wildlife protection and conservation. Ever since I was a young girl, I've really cared for animals, plant life, anything living and natural in our world. And more today, we see people that kind of brush it off and head to the more corporate side of things. And before we know it, conservation and wildlife is going to be lost. So it's a really important thing to me that people like me and my classmates at FGCU still try to conserve those efforts for wildlife protection. So that's the main reason that I'm so motivated because I truly care about the ecosystems here and I see how much damage we have done to them, and I'm just passionate about restoring them and keeping them clean for me and the generations to come. So, let me tell you about a time that I had a failure and how it helped me learn. So, this is going to take us back to my first semester here at FGCU, and I was a freshman just starting classes. I had taken 6 classes, which is already a lot for a freshman, and I had thought, this is going to be easy. I did 8 classes in high school. What's 6 classes? So basically, I ended up taking 6 classes and I, would brush off my work till the last minute on this one assignment. There was this one paper, it was really long. I really didn't want to do it. So I waited to the last minute and then completely missed that I had 3 other assignments due that day. I had to choose between being late on the 3 other assignments or being late on the paper that weighed more of my grade. So I decided to be late on the paper, which ended up making my grade go down 5%. Not great, not ideal, but I did learn from that mistake. And in the future, I planned out my schedule ahead of time for each class. Like this semester, I'm taking all online classes. So each week, I look at the next week that's going to be before, and I plan out, okay, I'll need to do this assignment this day, this paper on this day, and this test on this day. So I'm actually glad for that experience freshman year because it really taught me that, okay, this is important, slow down, pay attention, and you'll be okay. So that's how I learned from that. Now let me tell you about a time I had a conflict with a coworker at my old job. So this would bring me back to high school. I worked at Target and I would have a coworker that would frequently take extended breaks, but especially during busy shifts and rush periods. And that would leave the rest of the staff in our grocery section completely overwhelmed because how the system works is we take turns putting away each can, each cart, and after one person grabs one, the next person goes and grabs, and it's timed out. We each have a specific time limit. So by this person taking those breaks during busy shifts, it would cause the rest of our time limit to be up and our work performance would be down. So we didn't really know what to do because everyone was kind of seeing this issue and nobody wanted to say anything. We were all high schoolers, so pretty young. But eventually, it just wasn't worth it because our managers were getting mad at all of us. So I pulled them aside and privately let them know that it was really affecting the rest of the team. And if they needed to take longer breaks, maybe they could try to do it during a period that's not rush, not busy. And maybe they could space out their breaks if they're going to be that long. And I was expecting not a great reaction, but they actually reacted to it really well. And every time I worked with that person from then on, I did not see a problem. And so honestly, just using my words was a really great conflict resolution to that situation. And I'm just really glad I did it. So yeah. And then I'd like to just tell you what I might be able to do for you that other candidates probably couldn't bring as much in that sense. So I have a really deep passion and a really deep amount of respect for the natural world, and I'm willing to do the hands-on field work that might be hard for other people. I'm willing to adapt to my surroundings in the field, and I'm willing to spend copious hours out in the field whether it's helping animals, helping conservation efforts, a rescue effort, helping people. I just would really love to do everything I can to further the conservation efforts, especially in Southwest Florida, because since moving here, I've really found a home here. And I really enjoy the nature, the agriculture, the people, but it all ties in to sustainability and conservation efforts, especially when we are surrounded by so many natural parts and ecosystems here in Florida. So it's really important to me that we don't take these for granted and we really try to take care of them. So this means that I'm willing to work irregular hours, follow protocol, accurately document data, whether this is spending hours in a research lab, spending hours writing, spending hours out in the field, or doing hands-on work. I've done hands-on conservation work a lot through high school. Almost every summer, I would work at my grandparents' garden center. So that taught me a lot because they would take the natural things there and kind of create them into a natural ecosystem in their garden center. For example, they wanted waterfalls around, so they used the rocks and the natural hills in Minnesota to surround their garden center with artificial but sustainable waterfalls. So growing up around practices like that also taught me a lot about conservation and what you can really do to be completely sustainable in your conservation efforts, as well as keeping the environment beautiful and green. So I think that gave me a really good perspective from a young age to be able to understand and communicate what is needed and what could be done to help conservation efforts. I also bring a lot of dedication. As you could probably tell, I am very passionate about this subject, and I will be just as dedicated because I believe that in order to be happy in life, you should find a job that doesn't feel like work. And to me, wildlife and conservation doesn't feel like work. It feels like the right thing to be doing. It feels like my passion, and it feels like fun. So I really hope taking this, you'll consider me for the position, because honestly, I think it would be a great fit for us both. But before I go, I would just like to ask a few questions just to make sure this is a great fit for both of us. So one question that I have is, what is one specific conservation project or initiative that you guys here would want me to be working on and contributing to in the first 6 months of my time here? And that can be something to do with work or something to do not with work, if you have just some efforts you'd like to keep your employees updated on and have them doing side work. And then I would also like to know what skills I should prepare and prioritize for doing those positions. So that's my first question. And then my second question is, how does your company measure success when evaluating wildlife and protection efforts? Because it's different for everyone, and it's not exactly a linear number when evaluating efforts and how much we've done. So I'm just trying to get a gauge of your habitat restoration projects and human wildlife conflict resolution. How would you guys evaluate success for those kinds of jobs? So I hope you'll give me consideration, and I just wanted to say thank you for the time today, and it would be a pleasure to work with you. I'm excited to hear from you. Thank you.